Hello everyone, I wanted to go over and make a little video real quick on showing you some of the basics of what to look for when you're looking for a modem for your internet, cable modems, and routers. DSL modems are similar but slightly different, but this should help you with either, mainly for what I'm going over. Uh, the first thing to check before you even start looking for a modem is to contact your internet provider and find out if they allow any modem out there or if there's a specific set of lists they have or certain requirements, because some ISPs will only allow 5 or 6 modems to be used on their network, and they have specific ones. Others, it doesn't matter as long as you call up and register with the MAC address. Alright, now the next thing to pay attention to on the modem is the speed. The reason for this is if you buy a modem that's slower than what your current package is, then you're obviously not going to get the full speed. And let's just first show another little trick. First of all, when they advertise these and your internet provider advertises speeds, you will notice the speed is usually lowercase, which for proper annotation needs to be, because when you're advertising the speeds, there's bits and bytes, and the lowercase b means bits. And the reason for that is it makes something appear faster than it is. Give you an example: milk. Here in the U.S., we buy it in gallons. So we go to buy at a store, we buy it a gallon of milk. Well, you could also say 4 liters of milk, which sounds like a lot more than a gallon, but it's actually the same amount. It's just a marketing point or selling point. And that's what they do for this. In order to get your actual speed, you want to divide this number by 8. So you can bring up a calculator and put in your speed, which this one is 686, divided by 8, which gives us 85. So our actual speed is around 85 megabytes per second. Now keep in mind that's your maximum speed. That doesn't mean that's what you're going to get 24/7, 365 days a year. The other thing to pay attention to is this, DOCSIS 3, which I'm not going to go into extreme detail because most people could care less, and the ones that actually do understand the extreme detail are more than likely not going to be watching my video. But DOCSIS 3, basically in short, is what allows the modem to get internet over the cable, the same cable that cable TV is going through. That's the short version of it. There's a lot more detail, but I'm not going into it. But the main thing to pay attention to is that this is at least 3.0 or higher. But like I said earlier, check with your ISP and find out their requirements before you go shopping, because you could end up buying one that they don't support. So that's very important. Those are the two main things to pay attention to. There's a lot of other features on there, but I'm not really going into them. If someone really wants me to make a video on that later on, I can. But for now, I'm just going over the very basics that you need when you go to buy them. Now I'm going to move on to routers. Routers, when you go to buy them, the most important thing to pay attention to, first of all, is that it's a gigabit router. If you go to buy a router and you see it says megabit, get rid of it. Don't buy it. Ignore it. Move on to something else, because the speeds are much slower, and the faster you can get inside your network is better. Now, this gigabit, there's a couple things important about it. One, it also makes sure it's going to handle the speed you're getting in your house. If for some reason you got faster than a gigabit connection, you may want to look into a 10 gigabit router, or even a faster, which those get a lot more expensive. There's not many home ones available on that. Once again, keep in mind the numbers divided by 8 to get your actual speed. And in case you're not for sure, the way the speeds work is just like kind of in the other kilo, mega, giga, except in the IT world, there's 1,024 in each one of them instead of 1,000. So you can just use your math and go from there. But alright, now moving on to the next part, and sorry if these are extremely boring. I know I'm probably not the most entertaining to listen to, but hopefully with this video I can at least help you understand some things. So nothing else, drink some caffeine before you start listening to me so you don't fall asleep. Okay, moving on. One of the things to pay attention to when it comes to the wireless is, first of all, a lot of them will show you just the number, like this one that gives 1750, which that does not mean the AC or the G runs at that speed, that's the combination of all of them. And to give you an example, say you got 4 different people in the house that can lift 200 pounds each. Well, they're going to advertise that they can lift 800 pounds, and that's the combination of all of them instead of individual. Individually, this one actually shows over here. Some try to hide it, but you can go through and look and go through the details and find out what they list. And also the thing to know is these speeds are theoretical maximum. That more than likely you're not going to get that actual speed. You may get close to it, but you're not usually going to get that actual speed. And there's many different variations for that, especially wireless. There's so many things that can interfere with the cell phones, the wall structures, the pipes, depending on which one you're running. If you're running G and you're near a microwave, that's going to interfere because they both run at 2.4 gigahertz. The other ones, like N and AC, they run at 5 gigahertz, and so less devices interfere with them, but they also don't go as long as range as a 2.4. So like I said, there's many different factors that base in on that, but that's just a kind of idea to give you an idea what to look for. Which, when you're getting a router, I recommend one that has at least AC on it. I mean, it's going to have usually the other support dual band, but if it just has N and it doesn't have AC, that'll still work, but I would recommend looking in a newer. And the reason is that AC runs the same frequency as N does, but it allows for faster speed. And I'm not going to go into details on why that is. If someone really wants to, we can start doing that, and I can start, I guess, teaching Network Plus and other things on here, but that's not what I'm after. Just giving some basics. And that's pretty much it. I prefer using hardwired, which is why I like to have them both. I use a little bit of wireless for certain things, but if all possible, I like to use hardwire because it's more reliable and your speeds will always be faster. But wireless does have its uses. But anyway, that's pretty much the basics I wanted to come over and go over on this. If anyone's got any more questions they want on this, feel free to comment below and ask, or if they want me to make another video of more detail, please, by all means, let me know. And hopefully this wasn't too boring for you. Have a good one.